kind of leads us into number 4, which is going to be Cole Young for the Seattle Mariners. You and I talked. He's played some short. He's played some second. We're going to put him at second base. We'll let things play out. But it does feel, after we had both had the conversation, that he probably should be ranked under the second base STS rank. So we will omit him from shortstop. But Cole also had a pretty good season. I know that we've talked about him on the podcast before, so we won't spend a whole lot of time on him, but his STS peak projections, 121 WRC plus, batting average of 270, on base percentage 357, a 438 slug, 17 home runs, 16 stolen bases, 11% walk rate to a 16% K rate. I want you to just quickly touch on some of the thoughts you had on Cole Young this season.
Well, he's just been a roller coaster ride for me. I had him way too low, and then midway through last year, this pop, kind of like, there was some rumblings that Cole Young could tap into more power, kind of like McGonigle, and he started flashing it early on last year. And I'm like, oh gosh, he's about to do it. So I had him as like a top 10 non-debut prospect. And then he immediately cooled off right after that. AA Arkansas, from what I understand, is actually it's a pitcher's park. Still, we got to see more power from the guy. As of right now, I love his approach, and his hit tool is still there. He's going to have a strong career. He can play defense too. And so it's been a weird offseason for me, because I went from careening back after having him up so high. I'm like, nope, sell him. Get rid of him, because I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but he gets caught stealing too much. I've been saying it all throughout this, but he really is getting caught stealing too much. At what was it, AA? He got 23 stolen bases, 11 caught stealing. You can't get caught stealing half as many bases. Anyway, so the speed, if that's not going to play and the power's not really there, that has me selling. That said, what are we saying? We're also saying power can be the last thing to develop. It could still come. Maybe that little flurry we saw is just a preview of what he can tap into more consistently later on. So now I keep oscillating essentially back and forth between, okay, overrated, underrated, overrated, underrated. I don't know. Some leagues, I'm finding myself selling him in some leagues and then buying him in others. It just depends on where the GM has his value at. So yeah, it's a really weird, he's becoming a very strange prospect.
Yeah, well, and that's the game we're playing, right? You talk about that a lot, which is you're playing more the psychology of your league mates than you are sometimes even the stock of the player, because it's in the eye of the beholder. If someone in your league is looking at Cole Young, kind of similar to what you just said, maybe the buying opportunity is there, because I do think we have a big leaguer. And in deeper leagues that you and I play in and that we really push on our listeners as enjoyable leagues, Cole Young's an amazing asset to have. Even if he is just a utility platoon guy that plays 100, 120 games a season, that's an asset. He could very well be a major league starter, and probably should be for some organizations in the major leagues in the next few years. But
I do think that he's a starter. I think he's going to be a starter. And just to clear up what you were saying earlier about positionality, they're not giving Cole Emerson really any second base looks yet. It's all shortstop. Last year was almost 100% shortstop for Young. Then it's I think it went way up. His second base usage went way up this year. Still mostly shortstop, which they want him to be ready. Which it just goes to show that they're ready to trade someone, right? So, but in case they don't trade them, they want them covered. I would say that I would just say to everyone, watch the usage this year, because there's a bunch of great prospects up the middle for the Mariners.
Yeah, and when I broke it down, it wasn't 50-50 for Young this year. I want to say it was 50-some games at short, but 30-some games at second.
It was about 80 games at short, 30-something at second. But it was 100-something at short and 10 at second the year before. So,
well, and I think that says something to us about what the organization, where they value. To me, that says we are valuing Emerson higher than Young. But then again, Emerson was playing at short the same age that Young was playing at short. So maybe they're just allowing these guys to develop at short and then saying, okay, you've got that down, we'll move you off. I don't know that any of us can really project what the Mariners are going to do, right? You said it, all of them could be gone.
Yeah.
But we do have a value in Cole Young currently.